Before I start this episode, I just want to discuss some things that's going on in the world right now. The tragic shooting of Jacob Blake. How African Americans continue to be shot, harassed by police on video, and no action is being taken. How the cops responsible for the tragic death of Breonna Taylor have yet been brought to justice. This is despicable, man. It's upsetting, it's sad, and it's just wrong. How African Americans keep being treated like this in this country, man. It's just sad. And every time I go on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all of them, I see videos of Caucasian people, white people, doing things to the police, right? Last night I saw two videos. One video was a guy with an assault rifle that has already shot in people. He has an assault rifle in his hand, walking right in front of the police after he's already shot in innocent people at a protest. And nothing happened to him. I'm not saying he should have been shot and killed, but, if it was an African American, what would have happened? Y'all know what would have happened. I seen another video of a guy. The police was trying to talk to him. Caucasian male, white male. Police talking to him, I guess trying to arrest him. And dude is just saying whatever he wants to the cop. Lunges at the cop, swings at the cop. Tries to hit him with an object. If that was an African American man, we all know what would have happened. Jacob Blake was in his car, got shot 7 times, is now paralyzed. Breonna Taylor was sleeping in her home, got shot, murdered. George Floyd suffocated to death. Yet we're seeing white people do the same, if not worse things, and nothing happened. It's like cops are being trained. It's like they're being trained, man. And it's just very sad. No African American wants to deal with the police. Every time we see the police, we get frightened. Every time I'm in a car and I see a police, I get frightened. Not even just in a car, I'm walking, in a mall, anywhere. Because we feel like cops are just out to get us. That's just how I feel after seeing all these videos for years and years of police brutality. I'm afraid of the cops. Cops scare me. Every time I see them, I get worried because I don't know what's going to happen. Because every video I see of the police is them doing wrong to an African American. And to tie this back in to the NBA, players are speaking out on this. Fran VanVleet said at the end of the day, we're going to sit here and talk about making change. Then at some point, we're going to have to put our nuts on the line to actually put something up to lose, rather than just money or visibility. Jaylen Brown said, and I quote, "I want to go protest." Doc Rivers, an emotional speech he gave last night, said, all you hear is Donald Trump and all of them talking about fear, where we're the ones getting killed. We're the ones who get shot. It's amazing we keep loving this country, and this country does not love us back. Then he went on to say, my dad was a cop. I believe in good cops. We're not trying to defund them and take all their money away. We're trying to get them to protect us, just like they protect everyone else. And it's sad that we live in a country where, like I said, African Americans are afraid of cops. It said the Raptors are talking about not playing in this game. And like I said in my first, episode when I'm talking about this bubble, talking about change, don't play in the game. If things aren't changing, which they obviously aren't, because police brutality still happens. Just imagine what's not being caught on video. But this is just some of the things being caught on video. If changes aren't happening, and you feel like you're not playing, you can go, you can, help affect some change, help the cause, whether that's going protesting or whatever you feel like you can do, go do that. Because that was one of the first things I said. If change isn't happening, stop playing basketball and go out there and protest. Jaylen Brown drove 17 hours to go protest. I would not be surprised if he leaves the bubble to go do so, because getting shot 7 times is just uncalled for. It's just uncalled for. You don't use your taser. You just go and you shoot, and not only once, not twice, but 7 times. You shot to kill. It's just terrible. Then I see all the videos of white Caucasian people doing whatever they want in front of the police, to the police, and nothing happens to them. They don't even get tased. The cops don't even pull their gun out. They just don't do nothing. To me, from my eyes, how I feel, it just feels like cops are trained to hurt and kill African Americans. And what Doc Rivers said was perfect. We continue to love this country, but this country does not love us. And it's been like this for over 300 years. Change has to happen. It's bigger than basketball. So if the Raptors and the Celtics, if they want to come together and not play, don't play. Because what's going on right now is bigger than basketball. It's bigger than sports. How are you doing? My name is Christopher Burrow. You're now listening to my podcast, Sports Talk with Chris, and this is episode 41. Did I not tell y'all that bubble playoff basketball was some of the best basketball we have seen? We have been seeing some crazy performances by teams, by players. Stuff we haven't seen, it feels like, in a while. And I know we haven't seen basketball in 4 months, but man, this is really some good basketball. Before I get into these games, man, I just want to talk about some things that's going on in the NBA. The Sixers fired Brett Brown a couple of days ago. He has my respect because of what he did when we literally had the worst team in basketball. We had a team that the owners, the management literally did not want them to get better. We wanted to tank, is what I'm assuming. Trust the process. He was coaching that team. That team had fight. I always will respect him for that. But then when we got talent, it was time for him to prove himself, and he just did not do that. But also recently, when I mean recently, I mean less than 5 minutes ago, when this is being recorded, Pacers head coach Nate McMillan has recently been fired. He also got swept. Brett Brown, I keep calling him Brett. Brett Brown, he was swept, but his time was coming. If we didn't reach the championship, it was time for him to go. But Nate McMillan was just swept. Wow. Did not see that, happening. Nate McMillan is a really good coach. Very good coach. His teams, the teams he coaches, they always fight hard. Always fight hard. And that's something you just got to respect. But you look at this Pacers team, man. I mean, they're just lacking stars. So I'm not surprised they got swept by the Heat. And they're missing, a top 5 player. It's a bonus. So why they swept him, I do not know. But it's a lot of questions when it comes to that Pacer organization. Because I remember when Paul George said the Pacers declined to get, another superstar there to help him win. So, it's a big question mark when it comes to that organization in a whole. I wonder what they're going to do. But speaking on them being swept, they played Monday against the Heat. Game 4, they lost 99-87. Miles Turner played a great performance. This is the Miles Turner that we need to see on a consistent basis. 22 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, 9 for 16 from the field, 2 for 6 from the three-point line. He likes to shoot a lot, but I feel like he needs to use his size, strength, and athleticism on the offensive end when it comes to being in the paint. Dominate inside the paint, and your three-pointers, they'll come. You'll get them. But dominate inside the paint. He is a very good shot blocker. 5 blocks. 5 blocks, and some of these blocks were big-time blocks. You know, Brogdon had 13, 4, and 7, 5 for 16 from the field, 2 for 5 from the three-point line. He didn't have a great performance. Oladipo, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, 9 for 19 from the field, 5 for 11 from the three-point line. Victor Oladipo is going back to how he was before he got injured. The all-star version of him. TJ Warren, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. You know, TJ Warren only averaged about 18 points in this series. 18, 20 points in this series. But that was his averages in a regular season. Yes, he went off in a bubble, had some crazy performances, but you got to understand, you know, good players have times where they go off, and that was just his time. I'm not saying he isn't good, but I'm saying Jimmy Butler really gave him a reality check, saying, okay, yeah, I know what you was doing. You was getting buckets, but you wasn't getting buckets on me, and I'm going to show you, you know, why I said what I said in January, and he did that. Don't get it twisted. TJ Warren can score. He's been like this since he's been in his career. He's been a very good mid-range shooter when he was with Phoenix. In the last 2 years, he's improved his three-point game. So TJ Warren, if they keep him, you know, I don't know what they're going to do with this roster right now because, like I said, they really lack stars. So in order for them to be a real contender in a crazy East, which is, you know, how the East is going to be crazy next year, I'm going to get onto that, you know, when the season comes to an end, but the East is going to be crazy next year. So either they find a way to get themselves some more stars or they go totally rebuild. But TJ Warren is a guy that, in my opinion, can get you 18, 19, 20 points a night. And he has been doing that the past 2 years. But with that being said, it did get swept. Miami won, like I said, 99-87. Bam Adebayo had 14, 19, and 6. Goran Dragic had 23, 5, and 3. Hero gave you 16 off the bench. Olynyk gave you 11 off the bench. Crowder gave you 10. You know, Duncan Robinson gave you 5. Jimmy Butler gave you 6. You may be thinking, how is the team best shooter and quote-unquote the best player combined for 11 points and they still won? Well, this team has depth. That's why I like this Miami Heat team. They might not have, you know, in your opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, a whole bunch of stars, but they have quality players and quality depth. You got Hero. I hope I didn't call him TJ Hero. Sorry. But his name is Tyler Hero. Off the bench, 14th pick, if I'm not mistaken. Very good player. Averaged 16.5 points this series. He's a guy off the bench that can spark offense. Kendrick Nunn finally played. Another rookie, 7 points, 14 minutes. Another guy off the bench that can help spark offense. Then you got Goran Dragic, a veteran in this league that averaged 22 and 5 this playoffs. Man, Goran Dragic knows how to score, he just knows how to play basketball. So you got a guy like that on your team, you know, and Jimmy Butler has a bad performance like he did. Goran Dragic can help pick that up. Then you have Tyler Hero off the bench that can also help pick that up. You got Bam Adebayo, 14, 19, and 6. I think, you know, if I had a vote, I'd give it to Brandon Ingram, but I would not be surprised if Bam Adebayo wins Most Improved Player of the Year. This Heat team has depth, quality depth, not just, you know, random guys coming off the bench. They have quality depth. They're going to be a problem. They advance, and it's going to be looking like they play the Milwaukee Bucks, as the Milwaukee Bucks took a 3-1 lead on Monday, winning Game 4, 121-106, led by Giannis, 31, 15, and 6. Shooting 14 for 21 for the field. Chris Middleton gave you 22 and 10, but he only shot 7 for 19 from the field. He did shoot 4 for 7 from the three-point line. That's a good sign, but man, he has to be efficient, you know, when they play the Heat. He has to be efficient. Brook Lopez gave you 10. Matthews gave you 12. Then on the bench, they just had a lot of guys, you know. Marvin Williams, 8. DiVincenzo, 5. George Hill, 9. Kyle Korver, 10. They had a lot of guys, you know, a lot of guys scoring. They also have quality depth, like the Heat. Both teams use their depth, so it's going to be a very good matchup. You know, I'll talk more about it when the Milwaukee Bucks actually secure their spot in the second round. Middleton had 18 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's also a good sign because, you know, I like Giannis, But Chris Middleton really has to be that scorer and that closer because he's a guy that can shoot from the mid-range, from the three, can get to the paint. Love Giannis, but when he gets the ball, he's rim running. You don't really know with Chris Middleton. He can pull up. So he has to be efficient. Also on Monday, the Thunder won 117-114. Tied the series up 2-2. Now I had the series originally going 6 or 7. I kind of lost faith in the Thunder because how they were playing, but boy did they step it up. Shooter 30. Chris Paul 26. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 18. Steve Adams 12. Gallinari only had 9. But man, oh man. Schroeder 30 off the bench. Hit a clutch layup. Very good performance by him. Chris Paul, yeah, he shot 0 for 5 from the three-point line. Still had 26 points. Still got the job done. Clutch shots at the end of the game. That's why, arguably the most clutch player in the league because he has the most clutch points in the league. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gave you 18, 12, and 6. Gallinari, he had an off night. But when you have, your main guys scoring 70, 80, 90 points, it's going to be hard for you to lose. Very hard for you to lose. And Dort, he had 9 points. He did shoot 3 for 9 from the three-point line, but I can live with that. As long as he's attempting three-pointers, he's going to help this team out. 33%, that's about the average in NBA. I can deal, and they can deal with him shooting like that because Chris Paul shot 0 for 5, and that's usually not going to happen. So if Dort can shoot, 3 for 9, and Chris Paul would have made 2 of his threes, the game would have been a lot different. You look at the Rockets. James Harden had a great game, 32, 8, and 15 with 4 steals. Wasn't as efficient from the field as he usually is, 11 for 25. 6 for 15 from the three-point line. But he had a great game. House gave you 21. Covington gave you 14. Tucker 11. Gordon gave you 23. But their bench played terrible. Only 13 bench points. They only played 3 people off the bench. But only 13 points out of 3 people. Really 2 because Austin Rivers had 0 points in 14 minutes. Basically 15 minutes. That's bad. Very, very bad. And the Rockets were 9 for 10 as a team from the free throw line. That's bad. That's usually what James Harden's having. 9 for 10. He only got to the line 5 times. That's really not like this Rockets team. Really not like them. They shot 58 three-pointers, 23 for 58. They will produce points, though. You shooting 58 three-pointers, they will produce points. But with them not getting to their free throw line, with the Thunder going to the free throw line 28 times and the Rockets 10, the Thunder will have a chance. Now, the series is tied 2-2. And I believe Russell Westbrook is still injured. Man, this is a good series. Very good series. Also on Monday, Lakers, 135-115 on Kobe Bryant Day. Kobe meant a lot to the league, to the Lakers organization, to everybody. Kobe was inspiration. That phrase, mama mentality. I live by it. Putting in extra work, trying to be the best. I remember him saying, you start working out at 4. Start working out at 4, take a break, couple hours, work out again, take a break, couple hours, work out again, take a break, couple hours, work out again. You get so much more workouts in when you start earlier because people usually don't start working out 8, 9 o'clock and you started at 4. You got a 5-hour advantage. Just that alone, I've been trying to live on that this entire summer, this entire school year while I'm home. Then you look at what he did in the game, man. The best tough shot maker to ever play in the NBA. Man, it's just tragic what happened to Kobe, what happened to Gigi, everybody that was in that tragic accident January 26th. But the Lakers, salute to the Lakers. They had the Mamba jerseys on, all black jerseys on. Kobe will be missed. Everybody will miss him. And they did a hell of a job. hell of a job with the tribute. 135 to 115. LeBron James, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 for 12 from the field, 4 for 5 from the three-point line. He did that in 28 minutes. AD, in 18 minutes, 18, 5, and 5. Danny Green, 14. Pope, 12. Kuzma, 18. Howard, 13. Everybody scored that played. They played all 13 guys. The only player that didn't score was Jared Dudley. It was just a blowout from the beginning. From the beginning, it was a blowout. That was at a time where they were up by 30. It was just a blowout. Portland, they literally had no answer the entire day. Nurkic 20 and 13, Melo 16, Cullum 18, Lillard 11 before he got injured, Trent 13, Zona 11, Gabriel 11, Whiteside 11. It was just no answer. It was no answer. The Lakers team blew them out before they put. It was a blowout the entire game, but before they put their bench in, the starters were just working them. Their main rotators was just working them. You know. And the Lakers are that type of team. The Lakers are that type of team. Their defense has been the best defense in this bubble so far. Their offense just hasn't clicked, but boy, is it clicking. Boy, is it clicking. Man, LeBron has been the best show in basketball at least the last decade, if not more, but definitely the last decade. Playoff LeBron is a real deal. He switches it up, you know. Literally goes beast mode. Less than 30 minutes, he had 36 and 10 with that type of efficiency. Come on, man. And y'all thought he was done? This Laker team has been playing great. Game 1, they played great. They just were 5 for 32 from the three-point line, which will never happen again. You know, teams have times where they shoot bad. Like the Rockets, you know, going back to that Rockets game, Thunder shot, you know, relatively well. The Thunder shot relatively well from the three-point line, 11 for 32. But you look at the Rockets, right? They started the second half 8 for 8. Then they went 4 for like 25, 26. 4 for 26 after they went 8 and 8 in the second half. So it's like teams have times where they go into shooting slumps. The Lakers went into a shooting slump game 1. But after that, they've proven why, in my opinion, they are the best team in basketball. But man, hell of a performance by the Lakers. On Tuesday, there were 2 games. You had the Nuggets and the Jazz, the Clippers and the Mavericks. The Nuggets beat the Jazz, finally, Game 5, 117 to 107 to make the series 3-2. Led by Jamal Murray, who had 42 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. I'll get into him more. You got Jokic, who had 31, 6 and 4, who had at least 20 points in the first quarter. Michael Porter Jr. came off the bench, gave you 15. Grant gave you 13. Only guys in double figures. You look at the Jazz, Ingles 13, O'Neal 10, Gobert 11 and 12, Donovan Mitchell 30, Clarkson and Mike Conley both had 17, Zhang 7 off the bench. Man, Jamal Murray has been playing like the Jamal Murray I knew. Like I said, I've been watching him since high school. He's been showing that he could do this. College, he's been showing he could do this. The league, he just had to be consistent. But man, ever since he came back from injury in this bubble, dude's been playing out of his mind. Out of his mind. Like, if you don't know about Jamal Murray, you have to wake up. In game 4 and 5 in this series, Jamal Murray has 92 points, 19 rebounds, 15 assists with 0 turnovers. A point guard doing all that with 0 turnovers in 2 games. Shooting 61% from the field, 57% from the three-point line, 100% from the free throw line. In the span of 2 games. Give that man some credit. Game 5, 17 for 26 from the field, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, and 4 for 8 from the three-point line. Jokic shot 7 for 11 from the three-point line. Porter shot 3 for 7 from the three-point line. This Nuggets team, man, like, this is the team I thought I was going to see this entire series. I'm going to be honest. This was the team I thought I'd see. And they showed it game 1, but it's like everything after that, I just have not seen it. I just have not seen it, man, and it's sad because they're down 3-2 to a really good Jazz team, and they have to play great in the next 2 games. They have to play great. But they did play very well. Very well. Game 5, not great because, man, their defense is a huge problem. Their defense is a huge problem. They cannot guard the guards of the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell gets whatever he wants. Clarkson and Conley combined for 34. Then you add Mitchell, 34 plus 30, that's 64. More than half of the total points of the Utah Jazz. So it's like, man, you have to stop the guards of this Jazz team, and they just cannot do it. But great win Game 5. You know, hopefully they can keep it up for the rest of the series. Now, Game 5, the Clippers and the Mavericks. This is what I feared when I read Kristaps Porzingis was not playing. Dude, you having right knee soreness, man, but you can't play at all. You can't play 10 to 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes of you is better than 0 minutes of you. The Clippers literally destroyed the Mavericks, 154 to 111. Before I go back into this game, I got to give another shout out to Jamal Murray, because I'll just think about it. Like, do y'all realize 33 of his 42 points was in the second half? I'm just so proud of him, because this is what I saw all them years ago when I was watching his mixtapes. And now he's doing it in the NBA. Shout out to Jamal Murray. Shout out to Jamal Murray. But yeah, going back to this Clippers and Mavericks game. 154 to 111. The Clippers destroyed them. Paul George, 35 points. I'm going to get into him a little later. Kawhi Leonard, 32. Morris, 12. Sherman, 11. Jackson, 11. Lou Williams, 8. Trez, 19 and 11. You look at Dallas, 19 by Tim Hardaway. 12 by their center, Kleba. 15 by Burt. 22 by Doncic. 11 by Wright. Curry didn't show up. Only 4 points. Gilchrist, not known as a scorer. Boban only had 5 points in 17 minutes. Man, Clippers destroyed them. Let me repeat, 154 to 111. This is really what I feared. Like Kristaps, bro. If y'all would have won Game 5, y'all winning this series, in my opinion. Whoever won this Game 5 is most likely to win the series. That's why it was so important for the Mavs to get this victory. You know, it's harder for the Mavs to win 2 straight than the Clippers to win 2 straight. Because the Clippers can lock you down on the defensive end and have nights like this where they score 154 points. The Mavs can score 154 points, but don't have the same ability to lock you down on the defensive end. That's why it was so important for this Mavs team to get the victory. I'm just curious, like, what's going on, Kristaps? You couldn't play 15 to 20 minutes. It would have been a big help on the offensive end, on the defensive end, on a morale standpoint. On a morale standpoint. Because I feared this would happen. Yes, we all talk about playoff Paul George, but at the end of the day, Paul George is very nice. I mean, the dude is one of the top two-way guys in this league, if not second behind his teammate Kawhi. Dude can shoot better than Kawhi, has better handles than Kawhi, more athletic than Kawhi. Kawhi is just way more consistent. But when you talk about talent-wise, Paul George is right there. You can argue more talented than Kawhi, if you're talking about talent. But like I said, Kawhi, you know, is just more consistent, which makes him better. But I feared tonight, and I knew it would be tonight, that Paul George would have a game like this. 35 points, 12 for 18 from the field, 4 for 8 from the three-point line, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Kawhi showed up. Now, Kawhi said he's been dealing with some mental health stuff. He was in a bad space. You know, and we all joke about playoff P. But I'm glad he got out of his funk and being in a bad space from a mental health standpoint, and he's starting to feel better. You know, shout out to him. I hope he continues to feel better. You know, don't wish bad mental health on nobody. That's nothing to joke around with. So, if him having a game like this is a sign that he's feeling better, then I hope he keeps having games like this. Now, I did want the Mavericks to win, don't get me wrong, but, you know, shout out to Paul George. Like I said, I feared him having a night like this because when you talk about talent, dude has all the tools on offense. And he's been in a slump in the playoffs for the past, it hasn't just been this year, it hasn't been just in a bubble, but for the past 3-4 years, he's been in a slump. that he's been in the playoffs. I read you the stats of his shooting percentages, so y'all know it's been real. But glad to see he have a bounce back game. But this game was important. When you're tied 2-2, game 5 is important because now the other team has to win 2 in a row. So now this Mavericks team has to find a way to win 2 in a row. And Kristaps Porzingis isn't playing, it's going to be not impossible, but very hard. The reason I'm saying this is because once Kristaps wasn't playing, man, you look at game 4. The Mavs had to come back from down 21. You're not going to do that all the time on a Clippers team. Because let's be honest, can shut you down on defensive end and score points like they just did, 154. So them coming back from 21, that's not going to happen all the time. That's why I'm so, aggravated when it comes to Kristaps not playing, because literally you're taking away that team's second best player. You're taking away, in my eyes, one of the biggest mismatches in the whole entire series. And you're just making it that much harder for this Mavericks team. Now, if he could play Game 6 and Game 7, they're going to have a chance. But, man, it's going to be hard for the Mavericks to win 2 in a row versus the Clippers if they'd have, had to win 2 in a row. And let's talk about the Clippers for a little bit. Marcus Morris had an incident where he stepped on Luka's, injured ankle. Don't know if he did it on purpose. Not going to accuse him because I'm not inside of his brain. Would I be surprised if a player tried to take out the other team's best player? No, I will not. At the end of the day, if you play sports, you understand sometimes things like that happen. So would I be surprised? No. Would I feel bad? No. But that's the decision, he had to make. He said he didn't do it on purpose. I'll take him for his word. Accidents happen. Stepping on people's ankles, that's not always on purpose. But like I said, if he did it on purpose, am I surprised? Will I feel bad? Will I go on a huge rant saying, oh my gosh, Marcus Morris stepped on his ankle, tried to injure him? No, because if you play sports, that's all I'm going to say. And also, I just want to talk about Pat Bev. Bro, you talk too much. You talk way too much. Shut up. I'm tired of seeing Pat Bev celebrating more than the people actually playing. Dog, if you was on a team by yourself, you would be getting exposed. You're a good defender. You're a pest on defense. You're always in a guy's face. I give you credit for that. You got hurt. I give you credit for that. But man, stop talking. You're talking like you're on a court. You're talking, like you don't got 8 better players on the team than you. If you want to be honest, you talk too much. Stop talking. Now, do you deserve to talk? When you on the court, yeah. But when you're not on the court, man, I'm not trying to see you showboat. If you want to showboat, step on the court. If you want to showboat, be there for your team. Just stop talking, dog. Stop talking. Now, when you get on the court, I do want to see you talk because I'm a fan. But you just talking way too much to be on the sidelines. Now, Wednesday. Today we got some important games at 4 o'clock. The Magic and the Bucks. I see the Bucks closing out this series. The Magic fought hard. Every single game. It wasn't easy for the Bucks. The Bucks are just more talented, better coach, better players, better system. I see the Bucks winning today. Ending it off 4-1. Going to see Miami. And I'll talk about that, after I talk about the rest of these games. Game 5, you got OKC versus the Rockets. To my knowledge, Russell Westbrook is still not playing. I'm going to go with the Thunder. The Thunder have adjusted, finally. After being down 0-2, they have adjusted. They realized that you're not going to outshoot the Thunder. You're not going to do that. But you can't, in my opinion, you can't give them easy points, a.k.a. free throws. You can't let them shoot 55 three-pointers and then 20-something free throws. If you're going to let them shoot threes, you can't foul. And last game, the Thunder did not foul. Now, what is important for the Thunder is that 3 out of their top 4 scorers, which is Danilo Gallinari, and this is no order: Danilo Gallinari, Chris Paul, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder. 3 out of 4, they got to combine for at least 70 to 80 points if they want a chance. The other, all 4 have to have really good games, but you can get away with one having a bad game if the rest combine for 70, 80, almost 90 points. And that's what's going to have to happen if they want to beat this Houston Rockets team. The Thunder don't have a lot of scorers on their team outside of those 4. Dort, he has to be able to shoot consistent, but he's not a scorer. He's a defender. He's doing really good on James Harden. James Harden is still getting his, but he's taking a lot of shots to get his. But he had 15 assists last game. He's getting other people involved. You can't let the others beat you. You can't let Daniel House have 20-some points, hit all these threes. You got to play smart. But I'm taking the Thunder. Especially to my knowledge, like I said, Russell Westbrook isn't playing. I think the Thunder can win Game 5. And Game 5, especially when this series is tied 2-2, it is a very important game. Whoever wins Game 5, in my opinion, has the best chance of winning the series. Because it's hard for teams to win 2 straight when they know you lose 1 and you're done. Now, granted, this Rockets team is a different team. They shoot 55 at 58 threes last game. They shoot a lot of threes. They're probably going to shoot around 55 tonight. They shoot a lot of threes. So they can generate points. So they might be able to win 2 in a row if they lose this Game 5. But it's important. I'm going with the Thunder to win. But whoever wins this, has the best chance of winning the series. Then at 9 o'clock, you got the Trailblazers and the Lakers. Dame Lillard is out with a knee injury. So I was taking the Lakers to begin with, but it's going to be an even easier win for this Lakers squad. And they'll be moving on. And the Lakers are going to either play the Thunder or the Rockets. That's going to be a good series. But going back to the Bucks. If the Bucks beat the Magic, then they'll be going against the Heat. And that's a very good series. I touched on it earlier. I'm just reiterate it, man. You got 2 teams, good coaching, very good coaching, 2 of the best coaches in this league. You got teams that are very good on the defensive end. You got teams who are not selfish. You got teams who have quality depth and quality players. It's going to be a very good series. For the Bucks, they just need Chris Middleton to be consistent. Giannis cannot do it all on his own, especially not against this Heat team. They're going to need Chris Middleton. Brook Lopez. They're going to really need Brook Lopez. They're going to need Brook to take advantage of any single mismatch he has on him. If Bam is not guarding Brook Lopez, then Brook Lopez needs to be in the paint. I'm just going to put that out there. I think highly of Brook Lopez because I know he still has the capability to be a dominant player in the paint. And I've seen him do it. So therefore, everybody in the Bucks has to be consistent. And you go to the Heat, Jimmy Butler, can't have 6-point nights. I know, you can get away with it sometimes, but not against his Bucks teams. Jimmy Butler, you got to be that guy. No, I'm not saying shoot 55 threes in this series, but I'm saying do what you do best. Get to your spots, whether that's a pull-up midi, whether that's getting to the paint, shooting 10 or 11 free throws. Get to your spots. Be a dominant defender. Bam Adebayo. You got to show why you're an all-star, why you're up for most improved this series. You got to show it. Then the others, Hero. You have to be consistent off the bench. Dunn, if you're getting some playing time, you have to be consistent. Iggy, you have to be a defender. Olynyk, you have to be able to stretch the floor out consistently. Same thing with Duncan Robinson. Man, you got to hit the threes, which you have been. But that's a big part of this team. Jay Crowder, you have to be that two-way player. Goran Dragic, you have to be that consistent guy that's giving them 18 to 20. Because you've been, I think, the most consistent player on this team, especially in this playoffs. It's going to be a very, very good matchup to see. Very, very good matchup to see. Now, Thursday, you have the Nuggets and the Jazz. I'm taking the Nuggets. I feel like the Nuggets can win. I feel like they can win Game 6, but that's only if they defend. That's only if they defend, and that's only if they get help from the others. Grant, Millsap, Craig, Morris, Dozier. Hold on, I'm not seeing this name right. Wrong. Dozier. Those guys have to help. Game 5, Millsap had 4 in 20 minutes. Grant had about 13. That's about his averages, but he shot 4 for 12, 1 for 3 from the three-point line. Morris in 18 minutes only had 4 points, 1 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from the three-point line. Craig, 19 minutes, 5 points, 2 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three-point line. Dozier, 20 minutes, 3 points. It was 1 for 1, but I mean, take advantages of your opportunities. They need them guys to be consistent scorers. Murray's going to do his thing. Jokic is going to do his thing. Off the bench, Michael Porter is going to give you at least 15. He didn't shoot the ball. He shot the ball 5 for 11. He was 3 for 7 from the three-point line. I would like to see him get more touches, but at the end of the day, Murray can give you 40+, which I feel like he will, or Jokic will give you 40+, or at least 30+, which I feel like he will. That's securing your bag on offense. But on the defensive end, you cannot let the 3 guards of this Utah Jazz team go off again, because if you do that, it's a likely chance you will lose this game. But I'm going with the Nuggets. The Jazz have been playing well. Like I said, the 3 guards for them has been able to get whatever they want. And Clarkson and Conley and then Donovan Mitchell, especially Donovan Mitchell, he's having a crazy series right now, leading the league in points per game in the playoffs. He's doing his thing. So them 3, they're going to be able to get there. But players like Joe Ingles, he's going to have to, take advantage sometimes on that court. Rudy Gobert, he's going to have to take advantage sometimes, whether that's, cutting hard. You got to get open for them lobs. You got to get open for them putbacks. You got to be able to be a decoy sometimes. But if they can get some help from the others, man, it's going to be tough. Still going with the Nuggets. But it's going to be a good game. 6:30, the Celtics and the Raptors. I touched on this earlier. They have officially decided not to play in this game, which I think is a great move and a great statement. Fran VanVleet said, I touched on it earlier. I'm just going to reiterate what he said. At the end of the day, if we're going to sit here and talk about making change, then at some point we're going to put our nuts on the line and actually put something up to lose rather than just money or visibility. Jaylen Brown said he wants to go protest. Use this platform, guys. I love how the players, a lot of their interviews, they answer some basketball questions, but they use their platform to talk about these social injustices that's been happening. So keep using your platform, fellas. I'm glad that y'all are using it. I would like to see some of your brothers in this also use the platform. If they have to sit out, they can sit out too. I think it's a bold statement and a great statement. A very great statement. Y'all have my support. I'm sure you have other supports in sitting out and not playing in this game, because it's more important than basketball, and I'm glad that y'all see this. Now, 9 o'clock, you got the Clippers and the Mavericks. Now I'm going with the Mavs. I'm always stick with this Mavs team, but man, if Kristaps is not playing, this is going to be a hard game. Obviously, it's a must-win game, and they need to win this in the next game to win the series. But without KP, if he's talking about knee soreness and not playing, they really have no chance. They got blown out last game. Clippers scored 154 points. The game before that, at one point they were down 21 points, made a great comeback. But, like I was saying, the people asked me who I had in Game 5. I'm like, yo, I have the Mavericks, but Kristaps not, playing. This team can't come back from 21 against this Clippers team every single game. The Clippers team is way too talented on the defensive end and the offensive end. That was just a one-time thing, honestly. One-time thing. It's going to be hard for them to do that again. And now that Paul George, is feeling better, out of the funk he was in, mental health is getting better. Like I said earlier, Paul George, talent-wise, in my opinion, is just as talented, if not more talented, than Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi Leonard is just, more clutch and more consistent. But if Paul George is playing up to his talents, man, without Kristaps Porzingis, it's going to be hard. I'm still going with the Mavericks, but like I'm trying to tell you, if Kristaps is not playing, the Clippers damn near got this in the bag. The Clippers got this in the bag, you know. But, you know, to end this off, just to talk about these social injustices, you know, I'm glad to see, like I said, the Celtics and the Raptors. I'm glad to see the Celtics and the Raptors standing up and using their platform. Doc Rivers, like I talked about, has been saying powerful things in his interviews. You know, his interview almost brought me to tears because he was just saying a lot of real things. Like, he said, we've been hung, we've been shot, and you hear about it. You hear about police fear. It's amazing. We keep loving this country, and this country does not love us back. All we're asking is you to live up to the Constitution. These social injustices are terrible, they're saddening, and they're scary. But if these players can use this platform and make some change, it'd just be wonderful. It's more than basketball. Yes, we're all glad that basketball is back. Yes, I'm glad that basketball is back. But if all these players decided to stop playing right now and go protest, go use their voice, go use this platform, and they stop playing in the middle playoffs right now, that make me very happy. You know, very happy. I wouldn't be mad at all. At all. I support them 100%. And I hope that, you know, all their brothers support them, coaches support them, everybody around the league support them. Adam Silver supports them because I know he understands it's bigger than basketball. But if you want to talk about, you know, we're talking about basketball. The bubble has been great. Great basketball has been played. Going to see some great games Wednesday and Thursday. But man, I just hope this country, hope it changes for the better sooner rather than later.